Ready in 5. Hello, Brandon.
Hi, Mike.
How are you, buddy?
I'm great. You look like shit.
What? Really?
You got some weird shit.
Oh, yeah.
It looks gross.
It's called Cowboy Pride. Cowboy Pride. How about them Cowboys? Scored another 51 points yesterday.
Against
It's an NFL team. It's an NFL team.
I mean,
whatever they chose to play on the field
Alabama
has to tackle people.
beat them.
Well, Alabama can beat a lot of teams, just so you know.
Okay, fine. Georgia could beat them.
Georgia can also beat a lot of teams.
Okay, fine. Cincinnati probably could have beat them.
You know what would be worse? If you're a Packer fan and you lost to the Lions.
The Packers didn't care.
Doesn't matter. It's a loss.
The Packers don't care. They don't care. They have the number 1 seed wrapped up.
Or if you're a Lion fan and you get mad for your team winning yet another game and moving you down in the draft pick.
Well, that's just par for the course. Like, if you're a Lions fan, you kind of expected that.
If you're still breathing as a Lions fan.
That's true. If you haven't hung yourself already.
Welcome to episode 33.
We should put the suicide hotline number down.
Okay, yeah.
For
Lions fans and Jacksonville Jaguar fans.
Do they have fans?
Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. It's warm out there. There's sunny, sunshine in the stadium. I saw fans in the stadium.
I just thought that fans of the other team showed up.
Probably Jacksonville fans. They might be Jacksonville Bulls fans, which is a team from the USFL, which is coming back. I just saw a commercial. The USFL is coming back this year.
Yeah, nobody's going to watch.
I'm going to watch because I'm a fan of the USFL. We had the Chicago Blitz, which was an awesome team, which I see is not one of the original 6 or 8 teams that are coming back.
That no longer exists.
But all those other ones, New Jersey Generals is the team that Donald Trump owned. And the Houston Gamblers is where Jim Kelly started playing. So the Tampa Bay Bandits, that was a good team.
Did Young play in the USFL?
Yeah, he played for the LA Express.
That's right.
Yeah, there was a lot of good football players in the USFL.
I'm sure there will be plenty of other good football players that come through there. I'm just saying nobody's going to care.
Well, this is why it doesn't work. And just for you that are just tuning in, Mike Marazzo, Brandon Silvera, episode 33 of the Handcuffs and Sawdust podcast, talking football. This is why people won't care. And this is why no spring league has ever succeeded. Not even the XFL. It's fucking spring and summer.
The XFL when it first started.
People watched the first game at work, actually, a bunch of us.
Oh, yeah.
People want to do other shit on Sundays than watch football during the spring and summer.
Well, yeah, because the weather's nice.
Yeah, you're not stuck in a house where you can go, oh, what we can do? Oh, there's football on. Huh. Let's just sit on the couch.
32 below zero and snowing. I think I'll stay inside.
Yeah, except by you. That's how it works out here in the Midwest and in the East Coast. But by you, there's always something to do no matter what.
Well, when I lived in North Dakota, we had a combination of NFL Sunday Ticket and the Red Zone, and like Sunday all day.
Oh, that'd be great.
You make chili and watch football.
Oh, man, that sounds good. That's like a retirement goal of mine. Sundays just vegging out in front of the football.
And then every now and then we'd peek our heads outside and be like, no, fuck that.
Yeah, it's too fucking cold outside.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
I worry, though, because the more I see of the NFL and I find out what they're using their money for, I don't like.
Are you surprised?
No. I try to ignore it. A lot of my friends at work no longer watch the NFL because of that shit.
I don't care. You know why I watch the NFL? I'm a lot like Denzel in Training Day. It's 99% bullshit, but it entertains me.
Yeah.
I don't give a rat's ass what any of these people think.
Yeah.
Just go
right?
out and entertain me. That's all I care about.
Are you not entertained, is what Maximus would say.
I was very much entertained today.
Today?
Today I was very entertained.
Yeah. You got lucky.
Slightly stressed out, but
I texted you that I was going to watch your game, and you're like, this game is turning me gray.
Yeah.
I'm like, no shit.
And then when they scored the game-tying touchdown, apparently my son and I could be heard down the street.
Did your neighbors text you?
No, my wife did. She was coming back from picking up a drive-up-and-go order from Target.
That's funny. She heard you down the street?
Yes, in the car.
That is hilarious. Good. I'm glad that you had an exciting Sunday, an end to your Sunday before you go off and watch 1883.
Yeah. So we gotta get through this.
All right. So let's get right at it, man. How was your week?
Not bad. It was short because I had to call out sick on Friday. So apparently, 10th time is the charm.
10th time
got me.
It is kind of funny. You're exposed to COVID
The
after
COVID
all
finally
year,
got me.
and it finally got you. It will break through, buddy. It will
did.
find a way.
It did. I looked at Delta. I wiped my ass with Delta.
Nice. And the regular.
And well, I'm pretty sure I can't prove it because nobody knew what COVID was.
Right, you weren't taking tests back then.
But November of 2019, I was really sick, and
I don't think it was over here yet from from China.
well, we hadn't verified
Right?
it yet, but I remember the Grim
Reaper?
No, the
Oh.
Crypt Keeper,
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi standing out in Chinatown saying, "Hey, the water's fine. Come on down. Come on down." And then, I was sick for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I was fine. Got vaccinated. Got the Moderna one. Got the good one.
That's what I got.
Yeah. And then it got me. So, yeah. Had a
So,
head cold.
but
I had a
did you
head
get the-
cold for the last week. So
Okay. And backache, you said.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, you know how when you get sick, like your body gets kind of achy?
Yeah.
Well, my back started hurting like a son of a bitch.
You sure that's not from carrying your rookie for the last week?
I mean, it could have been. So
Yes.
It's funny you mentioned that. Did I tell you that I had to kick him out of the driver's seat?
I don't remember. You did.
So there was
I
one
don't-
day I
I
told
don't
him
think
that,
so.
hey, dude, my back hurts. I don't ever want you to get into a wreck, but especially today because my back hurts.
Yeah.
And then he almost got into a wreck where I almost got T-boned.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
And
so
then
I
you kicked him
So
out.
I'm assuming that I had COVID all last week at work, and then finally.
So
called
now
out
he's
on
sick.
Friday. Yeah, and then
He called out on
sick.
Friday, and you called out Friday.
Yeah. So
You had a nice 4-day weekend.
yeah, I did.
Or you're having a nice 4-day weekend.
Yeah, I have one more day off. It's amazing. I'm telling you, man. Swing shift is great.
This is
Yeah,
me every other week when I get a 3-day weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every other week.
I'm telling you, man. This whole getting sleep thing.
Yeah,
I'm a fan. I'm a big
Yeah,
fan
no-
of this.
no kidding. That's why I try and get 8 hours, but it never. Still not
Yeah,
the
it never
same when
works
your
when you're in
body.
minutes. And even if you do get 8 hours, it's not restful sleep.
No, you just feel like shit.
So- no, so this week we had to have the him and one other recruit. We had to have a talk of like, hey, you guys are supposed to be like a week away from going out and being in plain clothes, and then 2 weeks away from being on your own,
Right.
and you're not even remotely close to performing at that level.
And then you handed them the McDonald's application.
No, because I'd probably get fired for it.
You make him drive the
hazing
squad.
him. You're
He's driving.
hazing.
You're driving the squad, and you go, "I'm really hungry. I need to get lunch." And then you say, "Go to McDonald's." And you go to McDonald's, and then they roll down the window, and then he's like, "What would you like?" And then he's like, "Yeah, I want a quarter pounder meal." And then, okay, hold on,
need
my
an
FTO
application,
wants
too?
something. Yeah, I need an application for this guy. He's like, "Fuck."
There's like, as we drive by places, like, huh, they're hiring.
I can't believe you get in trouble for doing that, man.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, it's this whole new generation thing of like, you can't be,
Where's all the fun gone in our field?
dude, zero fun.
That's why I
No
want to
fun
have
allowed.
my dad on. Because he's got some stories that would make you go, what?
Just make sure the statute of limitations is run up on some of that stuff.
He's too old to give a shit.
I know, but still.
We're definitely having my dad on.
Yeah. So, we went to, I really thought for sure we were going to see a dog bite.
A dog
There's
fight?
No, a dog
Like-
bite.
Oh, I thought you meant Michael Vick moved into the neighborhood and he was.
No,
you
no.
thought there was going to be a
He don't wanna
dog
come out
fight.
You don't want
Okay.
to come out to California. Are you kidding me? All the animal lovers here.
Yeah, I guess.
So this guy ends up having a felony warrant for absconding from parole.
Okay.
And he's barricaded himself in like this little back shed in the backyard. And I'm not coming out. I'm not coming out. I'm not coming out. So our canine unit shows up and they're like, you want us to bite him? We're like, hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, we do.
They're like, all right, hold on. Let's throw some pepper in there. So they have like these little,
Wait, what? Throwing pepper?
Yeah. It's
You mean pepper spray? Like
yeah, so it's
pepper
like
grenades?
It's like an OC grenade.
OC grenade.
So they toss it in there, shut the door. It doesn't go off. They're like, screw it.
Guy
Give me
breaks it
another
open,
one.
puts it on some pizza.
They got another one. Threw that one in there. That one doesn't go off. So I just tossed him a can of pepper spray. I go, just spray him.
Spray him, damn it. Well, wait, don't you have to get close to spray him?
No, well, not with the new stuff that we have. Like, we have the gel stuff.
How far does it go?
Maybe probably about like 10, 15 feet. I
So you have to be within 15 feet of him.
I feel.
Or are you going through a window, spraying it into a
He's
window?
just reaching in the window and.
I got you.
So he's spraying him, uses up one, grabs another one.
Guy's in a tool shed.
Yeah, just refusing to come out. Finally opens the door, coughing. He's in.
It's like Platoon. They're in a platoon.
And I'm watching my boot because he's on the hands team. He's gonna lay.
Oh, here we go.
He's gonna lay hands on him.
Yeah, he is.
And I'm like, yes, finally.
Did you Lay Your Hands on Me by Bon Jovi on your phone and have it playing
It was
in your
playing
vest?
in my head. I'm like,
Okay.
I want to do it. And they yank him out and they dogpile on top of him and I can't see what's going on. I'm like, ugh.
They're all getting covered with pepper spray,
Fuck him up. And
yelling from the sidelines like a proud parent.
yeah,
Kick
get
him!
his arm, wrap it around, break it. So afterwards, we're canvassing to get the statements of people that heard us tell him to show his hands and to stop fighting and stop resisting. I can't believe he made us do that. So anyways, I pull him aside and I go, hey, did you use force? He's like, no, I don't think so. He's like, all firm grip and stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. You know how to articulate things already to get out of a use of force report. I'm like, all right. Like, but you still got to write it up. You know, you still got to write the report of everything you did. And he did. And I'm reading his report.
You did a good job? Boy.
I'm reading his report. It's a whole lot of like, hey, there were canine announcements made. The guy said he was going to come out, but he didn't come out. The guy was being an asshole. There were all these pre-assaultive indicators. His fists were clenched. He had a bladed stance. I could see that his arms were tensed up. I could feel the tension in his arms as I tried to secure it. And then he adds one little sentence. The suspect was taken to the ground, and I put my hands on him.
What?
Yeah, he just said he put his hands on him.
How else was he taken down to the ground? Just by magic?
Like, what do you mean you put your hands up? Well, yeah, they grabbed him, they pulled him down to the ground, and I just put my hands on him. Like, well, what did you do? Did you grab his arm, did you twist it back there? Did you kind of get him in a little bit of a twist?
Control hold?
Did you twist him up a little bit? Did you give him a little what for? Like, no, I just kind of held him down.
Held him down.
Okay. Like, so you're telling me you wrote like a page, a one-page
A whole detailed report.
To
Then I didn't use any force on him whatsoever. I just held him down.
You didn't do jack shit.
RO assisted the takedown team by holding down the offender.
Yeah.
End of report.
Okay, so let's make this a little bit better, dude. All right. You touched him, right? You felt him. Yes. What did you feel? I could feel him tense up. Cool. We're going to put that. I could feel the suspect tensing up. Was he moving? Yeah, he was kind of rolling back. Yeah, I could feel the suspect turning back and forth, violently trying to escape custody. Okay, here we go. Like, you do realize that this makes you look like a bit of a bitch, right? He goes, what? You're listing out all these things that you felt by touching his back, ever so gingerly. You might as well have just patted him on the head and gone, there. It'll be okay.
It'll be okay. Want a hanky? For all that shit in your eyes?
All that. I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, dude.
See, no report.
He,
They didn't do anything.
I'm telling you right now that if I had, like, same thing, I wouldn't have written a report.
No, because you didn't do anything.
No. I showed up, I acted like a little bitch, and then I canvassed and then I left.
It was a bitch fest.
It's, oh my God. Like.
So I want to bring up the whole canvassing thing.
Okay.
So you do that, and you get this guy out of the shed, and he's taken down, he's brought into custody. Now you have body cameras.
Mm-hmm.
You have to walk around and canvass to make sure people heard you saying what you said, which is on camera.
So what we do is, it's more of a CYA thing. There's nothing written down. It's like, oh, you shall do this.
Okay.
We'll go like a couple houses each direction. Knock on the door. Hey, did you hear anything just now? Yeah, we could hear some commotion going on there. We could hear the police yelling, like, stop fighting. And we just heard him yelling, being an asshole. Perfect.
Now, do you get their names, date of birth, addresses, phone numbers, all that, and put it in the report that after the event you canvassed the neighborhood, you spoke with this witness who stated this? Okay.
I contacted the residents at 123 whatever street.
I used to live there.
Identified as, Billy Joe Smith and Jose Cortez. Both of them said that they heard a commotion. They could hear police giving instructions to stop fighting and to give them his hands. And they could hear the guy saying, F you, you're never going to take me alive, and all this
Copper.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right, that's interesting.
It's more of a CYA thing, so that when the independent police auditor, which I guess is kind of like the COPA thing that Chicago has, except we only have one person.
Okay. Not a whole list of
team.
Civilians that shouldn't be looking at anything law enforcement related whatsoever.
So we only have one person that tries to screw us over.
With no training?
Yeah. I actually had one try to open up an IA complaint on me one time because I had a thin blue line flag patch on a utility pouch on my outer carrier. But that got squashed.
As it should. Any complaint that comes about us comes to our sergeants first. So first they have to go see the shift sergeant, and that usually goes about as far from me to this mic.
Yeah.
Literally. And then they're like, have a nice day. We'll take care of it.
Yeah, when they... I want to talk to your supervisor. Perfect.
Yeah.
Let me get him over here.
Yeah.
Sarge, I'm going to need you to stop watching Netflix. This guy wants to talk to you.
All right, put down Yellowstone.
Fucker. Because he was being a fucker.
Right.
Okay, fine. I promise I won't do it again. Today.
Till the next time. Yeah.
Yeah. I won't do it again until I do it again.
Right.
But sometimes I go to directly to the independent police auditor, or the IPA. And then they call up IA.
That's not a beer, the IPA.
Yeah, no, it's not a good beer.
That's not a beer.
No, it's not beer.
Okay.
It's a mean person.
All right.
But that was...
So that's it?
Yeah, that was pretty much the highlight of the week. I mean...
Sick boy. Oh, you had to talk with your guy.
Yeah, we had the come to Jesus talk of, look, you're like technically 2 weeks away from being on your own, and do you think you're performing at a level of being on your own?
That's conducive. Yeah.
He's like,
I like to hear the answers to those questions.
Yeah. He's kind of like, sort, maybe? Like, no, the answer is no. The answer is not even, not one fucking prayer, dude.
Or let me see.
No, think about it. Not like, maybe if I clean up like this one thing. Like, no.
The answer is you're extended.
Yeah, the answer is you're going to be an FTO for a little bit.
So get used to it.
So,
going to extend you.
Yeah,
all right.
We'll see if he's at work Tuesday. I actually have to finish his DORs from last week.
Don't let him get too far behind because you're going to forget what happened.
One's just a placeholder because he was sick, and the other one I still remember, and I feel bad because I've been in his shoes, not doing well during FTO, and
then you get no feedback for like 4 days.
Well, he gets feedback instantly. He just doesn't get the written feedback right away.
Okay.
So I tell him what's on the DOR before I even write it. Like as the days go on, like, you fucked that up, right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So.
DORs.
Easy money.
Easy money. Give
Easy
me that.
overtime.
I don't know how. Yeah, yours. You do that shit after shift, right? You stay and write stuff up,
Well, I can write
and
it
it
at
goes
home.
as overtime.
Yeah, I do it as overtime. But if he has a report to write and he's going to write it on overtime, I'll write his DOR at the same time. But if we get off
Okay.
on time, I will write it the next morning as I drink a cup of coffee.
Okay.
And that's way
And
better.
you put in for overtime.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Our department would never fall for that trick.
Well, my department really needs FTOs.
Yeah, well, we need them too, but they just make us do it all on time. Like,
no.
we have to come in early if we're going to do a DOR. At the end of the shift, I'll pull the guy off the street within 30 minutes, and we'll go do the DOR, and then we're done by end of the shift. We don't get to, unless we're like really busy and it gets carried over to the next day. I still don't do it on overtime. I just do it at the beginning of my shift
You should really just do it
on
for
straight
overtime.
time.
I do it for overtime.
Yeah, I should do it for overtime.
I like
but
money.
They just wouldn't okay it in my department.
And my
Like, get that
department's
shit
okay.
done on regular time. You got
No.
12 hours to sit and write another DOR. You're here for 12 hours. Just write the DOR now.
Well, see,
now.
your guy
That's what it
also
would be.
doesn't ride with you for the full shift.
Not anymore. Right. We
So
just
you
do the
have
8
time
hours.
to where you could do it. I'm with the
Uh,
guy
not-
the entire shift.
Yeah, well, that's true. I guess I would do it before he comes in. Or depending on what shift you're on, because on the day shift, he doesn't come in
Right.
until 11. So you can do it in the morning
Yeah.
if you didn't get to it the day before.
It's like
On the night
technically-
shift, he's...
technically you could have some downtime
there.
where you don't have to either train or do something like that. Like I'm
Right,
pretty much
yeah.
going for the full 10 hours and then
Yeah.
I write.
All right, well, I'm sorry to hear that he's already looking for a job at, like, Gas Pro or whatever else he can...
He might be a CSO. Who knows? Maybe
Can-
maybe he
now that
pulls out of
he's-
the tailspin.
So he's been hired by your department, and if he
Yes.
doesn't make FTO, when you extend him a couple extra weeks and he's still not going to be a police officer, are you telling me that they will offer him a CSO job?
Potentially.
Really?
So from what I
That's interesting.
It's not too uncommon where guys don't make it through FTO. They go into the CSO program. They'll do the CSO gig for a while, and then if they ever feel like they're ready to come back before their post certificate expires, then they can come back, give it
Oh.
another go. So that way, that investment isn't
Wow.
completely gone. You're still getting something for it, and at least
Okay.
then they've
That-
been trained because our CSOs take like really chill reports, like property crimes.
They do parking stuff, and yeah, okay.
Not even parking. We have a whole parking compliance department in the city for that.
Do they answer loose dog calls? And I mean, what they
Yeah,
can't,
they'll
shouldn't be
t-
doing
they'll-
any union work.
They'll take like shoplifting calls,
That's union work.
vehicle accidents that don't have any suspect info,
Okay.
stolen vehicles, recoveries with no suspect info. Basically, if there's no suspect info, they'll do that.
Okay.
They'll even do some evidence collection. They do a lot of traffic control for us whenever there's like a major scene or something like that. So they actually do
Okay.
a decent amount.
Sounds like, yeah.
And by them having some law enforcement experience, it makes them a little bit better at their job,
Then a civilian
right?
doing it.
And it
Yeah.
can kind of be seen as like
Okay.
a direct entry program.
That's an interesting roundabout.
I thought so.
Okay. That's a good ROI for the department.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because I
Okay.
mean, like this
CSO
does
for people
well
that don't
on
know is community service officer.
Yeah,
So,
so
if
this
people
guy
don't
does
know
well
what
on,
a
like,
CSO is.
Code 4 calls where there's like no danger or anything like that. Like once he gets there, like he actually does a really good job with interpersonal communication and stuff like that. But
Wow.
it's
most of the
twisted
job.
Yeah, I know. But it's the other part when
Yeah.
the purse snatch suspect is walking away from you and you're not grabbing them,
Grabbing them. Yeah.
or the parolee at large is resisting and you don't grab him.
Yeah.
just-
Well, he was
Just put your hand
touching
on
him.
him.
He put hands on him.
He was laying his
I'm gonna
healing
heal
hand
you.
on him. He was de-escalating the situation.
You're healed. Yeah. Right. That's Sergeant Solo cup you have there.
No, it's his sticker.
What is
on,
it? That's a
on
sticker.
my-
Okay.
On my water bottle, I also have half.
Where's my
half
sticker?
mast.
What the-
Yours is not
Here
on this
we
one.
go.
It's on my
This
other
is where
cup.
Mike finds out he's got no sticker on Brandon's water cup.
No, on the water bottle you don't, but you have it on my other
Okay.
my other tumbler.
All right. I won't shame you into putting it on something else.
There's no room for it on this one.
You can cover up one of those other ones. So speaking of half-mast, I haven't gotten any word back from Andre about my banner. But I'm sure he's working on it.
Yeah, I think he's been pretty busy.
He did say after Christmas.
Well, it is after Christmas.
Yes, it is. So my week, let's see. Got a new sergeant.
Huh.
I know I mentioned it last week, but we didn't get to talk about my buddy Nick becoming the sergeant on our shift. And I think Nick actually worked in his whole life. I think he's been at the department for maybe 10 years. Maybe 10 years. And maybe he worked a couple weeks on midnights.
That's like my old boss. He worked midnights during FTO, and that was it.
Yeah, and this was, again, someone I trained. Yet another trainee as a sergeant. So anyways, his first week with us was a week. It'll be actually 2 weeks tomorrow night, Monday. On the 28th, I think he started with us, January 28th. And then he got to work New Year's Eve with us, which I was dreading the whole effing since the calendar came out and I saw that we were actually working New Year's Eve. And then he actually got to work with us, so we told him, and the shift was short, which is 4 guys. And our other midnight shift is like the cowboy shift of our department. They fucking chase someone every night. They're fighting people every night. They lead the state in DUIs, all that stuff. So Nick came to our shift, and I told him, yeah, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
We don't do that here.
We'll take care of you, Sarge. And he goes, I appreciate it. And then he said to me, he said, you know, Mike, I still look up to you as a patrolman. You're my FTO. People think that you get this badge and you, all of a sudden, when you get a sergeant's badge or these stripes, that you know everything. He says, I'll be the first person to admit I don't know shit. So if I need something, are you okay with me asking you questions? I'm like, yeah, dude. So we're a team on this shift, you know. Not just because you have rank doesn't mean you can't ask a senior patrolman for questions. So we welcomed him. We didn't get him killed on New Year's Eve weekend. So he made it through his first 5 shifts and the holiday shift in good shape. And then we asked him, Wednesday night, how he's adjusting, because we worked Wednesday and Thursday night this past week. How is he adjusting to the nights? And
everything hurts.
He's learned. You know what? He said he's actually liking it a lot because he gets more quality time with his kids, he said. Normally, if you're up during the day, your kids are running around, you see them more. But the actual, where you sit down and do something with them, it is not as quality as it is now, because he knows now that he's going to be sleeping during the day. When he gets up, he concentrates on his kids. He has more quality time with them. And what he really likes is then they go to bed. And then he can do whatever the fuck he wants, like all night. So he's actually, I think he's trying to make it where he's only up at night.
Yeah.
Like I do. So he's adjusting well, and he's gonna be just fine. We take care of him. But he did ask, when are you guys going for coffee? And I'm like, well, no one does that on this shift. He's like, what? Because his whole day shift will go out at the beginning of the shift and go out for coffee. And on our shift, I'm the only person that gets coffee, and that's right at the beginning.
We don't do that here. And
then we don't go get a cup of coffee at 1 a.m. No one else drinks coffee except for me. So I think Nick's his name, him and I will start, doing more of that. But it's going to cut into Netflix time. So
well, you guys got to do like end of shift donuts, right? Like
maybe we used to go to breakfast.
You guys head back to the barn, like you hit up a donut shop that just opened.
Ours are open 24 hours.
Well, we have some that are open 24 hours, but there's some that like they open up like right at 4, and you get like just.
Our restaurant used to 5 o'clock, and then every morning at 10 to 5, our shift. This was years ago when I was on midnights. We would go to the back of the restaurant and just wait for them to open, and every day we'd have breakfast there at 5 in the morning, which was great. And now they don't open that early anymore, so there really is only the Dunkin' Donuts to go to. But I told him we'll start hanging out more.
Yeah, my buddy and I.
So that was.
we used to go to we used to have a donut shop in our district, and we would go there on our Friday, 5 a.m., grab donuts, either orange juice, energy drink, coffee, something like that, and then hang out, have some breakfast, then head back to the barn.
Yeah, or dinner at that point. It's actually it's breakfast food for
this is
dinner.
The same guy. We were we were both driving to work at the same time yesterday, and we both live about an hour away from where we work, and we spent the entire drive on the phone with each other, talking crap about every other person on the freeway.
Nice. Little road rage.
Yeah.
Towards each other. You had someone to share it with.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so that was, it's fun having Nick on our shift now. It's nice to have a sergeant. My buddy Dan's pissed because Dan's usually senior officer and gets money for that. So now when my buddy Jimmy was our boss, Jimmy was also on, he ran what's called NIPUS. I told you about it before.
Yeah.
What's the crowd control team? What do they call those guys?
Oh, we just call it a mobile field force, and it's...
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's mobile field force. I keep forgetting the words mobile field force.
It's just made up of regular patrol officers.
Yeah, the NIPUS one's made up from patrol officers from all over in this jurisdiction, right?
Gotcha.
So Jimmy had been in it so long, he was running it. He's like the commander of the mobile field force. So he was gone a lot for training. So Dan was like, all right, overtime, because he gets paid extra to be the boss. Well, now Nick was on NIPUS on the bike team for the mobile field force. But now that he's becoming a sergeant, he's given that up. So he's not going to be gone as much, and Dan ain't going to be boss as much. So I think Danny just took a punch to the balls.
I say he's taking a pay cut.
Yeah, he is. So we had Nick. Nick joined us. He's now our new sergeant. And then a couple things that happened I wanted to talk about. My buddy Jeremy was running our shift. He's the sergeant on the other night shift. He signed up to do some overtime on our shift. And he's a big DUI guy. So it's like 3/4 of the way through the shift, and I get a call of a 3-car accident. And by 3-car accident, it's one car hit 2 fucking parked cars. Right off the bat, that's a call I don't want.
Automatic DUI.
Because no one that's driving regularly is hitting 2 fucking parked cars.
Well, that's where you slow roll it to the car and give the guy a chance to run away and be gone, and then all you got to do is to crash. You don't got to worry about the DUI.
Oh, I did. I would hand over the hit and run to the detectives. But I get there. There's a bunch of teenagers in the park that saw the crash.
Oh, son of a bitch.
The 2 people's cars that he hit in front of their home came out. It was a 3-flat, so apartments. So two parked cars. The crash was so loud. He crashes into the first car, which crashes into the second car. Those people hear it. They come out. There's people at McDonald's. They come out because McDonald's is right next door. There's fucking 30 people outside when I pull up. And I'm like, God damn it. So we get out, and I make sure no one needs an ambulance. And this guy's walking around in a daze. And my sergeant, he walks past me, and he goes, I think he's 501. So in Illinois,
what is 501?
The statute is 5/11 12-501 is, I think that's what the fucking code is. 501 is the actual DUI code for state statute.
Okay, see, for us, it's 23-152 for the misdemeanor, which to us, we just call it a deuce.
Okay.
So we'll call him a deuce driver or something like that.
Yeah. Well, he walks past me and just goes, 501. I'm like, motherfucker. The last thing I want to do is a fucking DUI. Yeah, so he comes up to me and he's like, I get everyone's information, the people who were in the inside, that their cars got hit. The one poor guy goes, I don't even have insurance for that car. I just pulled it on the street. I just bought it. I just put it on the street for 5 minutes. And he gets plowed into. So he doesn't have insurance. So I get all their stuff, and they're like, that guy doesn't look right. He's not looking good. And I go, well, let me talk to him and find out what's going on. Maybe he's sick.
He just hit 2 parked cars. He's having a bad night.
So after my sergeant walks by and goes 501, I'm like, motherfucker. So
you gonna write it?
I get his information. I talk to him. I can smell a little bit of alcohol. And I'm like, I go back to my car to run him and put everything in the MDT, and then I'm going to have to arrest this fucking guy. And my sergeant comes up and goes, hey, if you don't want the arrest, I'll take it because he's a big DUI guy. If you just help me. And I go, you mean help, like just process, because we have to process our own prisoners and stuff. I don't know if you guys have a civilian that does that. So he goes, yeah, just fingerprint them, do all that stuff, do the crash report. I'm like, all right, man.
Usually jail does that for us.
Okay, yeah, we have to do all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I take them to jail, I drop them off, and then I go, bye.
You're a dick. Yeah, we don't. So I'm like, yeah, man, that sounds like that's a fair trade to me. I hate doing DUIs. He's a DUI guy. Done. He goes, all right, let's do this. He looks over at the guy. He's standing outside my squad door. He looks over at the guy and looks back at me and he goes, yeah, we're not arresting this guy. I go, what do you mean? He goes, he just shit himself. The guy shit his pants in the street. Just standing there, shit his pants.
So let this be a lesson to you, boys and girls. If you
now you're not
drunk
taking him?
And you don't want to go to jail for DUI, shit yourself.
Because Jeremy goes, I'm not putting this fucking guy in my car. I'm like, well, we got to get him out of here. Because if one civilian walks up to him and smells alcohol, there's going to be an inquiry why you didn't arrest a DUI driver. So I look at Drew. Drew's walking around helping. I go, hey, put that fucking guy in my car. He's like, he shit his pants. I go, I know. Just, we got to get him out of here. Put him in my fucking car. So he throws him in my car. I tell the people, here's your crash report number. I'm taking this guy. They don't know that I'm not arresting him. They think he's in trouble. So I get a tow truck out there. We tow this guy's car. I go to the station. He's sitting in the back, and he gets out, and he speaks Polish mainly, no English. And the first thing he says to me is,
he's okay.
Doo-doo. Doo-doo.
Yeah, buddy.
I go, yeah, I know. You shit yourself. He goes, bathroom. He said bathroom or some other word that meant bathroom. And I'm like, yeah, come on. So I walk him through the PD, and I should have put him in a cell to use the bathroom. But I let him use our only two bathrooms on our floor. There's a male bathroom and a female bathroom. I put him in the men's bathroom, and I stand around the corner. I'm just waiting. And then while he's in there, I run and I write his tickets real quick, right? So I'm going to give him some tickets and his tow form and all that bullshit. And then I don't hear him come out nor walk past the squad room, but I hear the front door close. I'm like, I look up at the monitor and I can see him leaving the station. I'm like, fuck. So I run out there and I go, dude, sit. I got to write tickets. He's like, okay. I said, 5 minutes.
No ticket.
Okay. No problem. So he sits down.
Okay.
Danny thinks it's a good idea to go into the bathroom. He's like, where did you put that guy? I go, I let him go to the bathroom. He walks to the bathroom and he goes, Mike! He yells, Mike. I'm like, oh, fuck. He goes, that fucking guy jammed his fucking underwear down the toilet. His shitty underwear. He took them off, jammed them in the toilet. You can see him in there. He didn't flush. He goes, go get that fucker. So I walk back out there. I go, come with me. He walks back and he goes, I point in the bathroom and he goes, oh, and he goes to flush. I go, no fucking flushing. Danny goes in the processing room, grabs some rubber gloves, throws them at him, take the fucking shit out of the toilet, put it in this garbage bag. So we made him fish his shitty underwear out of the toilet, put him in the garbage can, and then Dan's like, he's dealing with the garbage can. He's going to tie up the garbage and fucking take the garbage out and stuff. So, fucking nightmare. So we sent that guy away, but I got out of arresting him because he shit his pants. So like Brandon said, shit yourself.
It sounds like you were a lot harder to not arrest him than it would have been.
No, I gave him tickets.
Take him to jail.
I did the crash report and then the tow report because we towed his car, and then that's it. I didn't have to deal with him all night and babysit him all night. You know what I mean? So, anyways.
I think you should just take him to jail.
I know. I wasn't in the mood. And then last week we had a call at an apartment building. Someone called and said there was someone screaming in the halls. So Gio and I shoot over there. There's no one in the hallway screaming. We can't find anybody. We don't hear anything. We don't see anything. We leave. It has to be 10 minutes later. We get the call to go back for the kid who now says he had a gun pointed at him.
Naturally.
So we go over there, right, and we're met outside by this kid. He's on a phone, and his mom and the guy who rents the apartment, who looks like a gangbanger. He's got the teardrop on his face.
Maybe he just suffers from chronic depression.
Yeah, maybe he's sad all the time.
Could be. Who knows?
So he says the kid's outside on the phone talking in the lobby or in the hallway, which was probably the first call from a neighbor because the kid was being loud on his phone. That was probably the person we were looking for the first time we were there. So the kid says while he's on the phone, they have an issue with the neighbor below. He says that guy comes out, opens his door, yells at him for being on the phone, and then puts a gun out this way. He's like pointing a gun up out his door towards the ceiling at this kid. Now, this guy's apartment door is here. Stairs go up to a landing. Then there's a landing. Then stairs go up this way. Now, the kid's telling me he's up here on the phone, yet this guy's sticking a hand out his door and pointing a gun at him. Oh, and the kid said that guy's wife was then standing behind him with a machete. Guy with a gun, wife with a machete.
Powerful.
So the guy who rents the apartment says, you got to go in there and get him. And I'm like,
arrest that man.
Okay. So your kid's saying, the kid's 20. I said, come back here and tell me this again. So he tells me. I'm like, can you get off the fucking phone? You're trying to talk to you. You're still on the fucking phone. Get off the phone. So he gets off the phone.
Good. That bothers
tells me
you
this
too.
whole yeah.
I physically
this whole story
take
tells me
people's phone,
again.
hang it up. And
Give
toss
it back
it somewhere. No, I don't give it back to
So
them.
they-
I hold on to it or
Okay.
put it somewhere
Until you're
else
done.
where they can't get it.
All right. So now I got to go. Gio and I, it's his call, but we have to go knock on this guy's door who supposedly waved a gun around and his wife has a machete. And all I kept thinking about, and this is in all seriousness, is one, I've got 4 fucking months to go. 2, the officer in Bradley, Illinois, the sergeant, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, who was murdered on a barking dog call. So I go down there. Now, you walk in the apartment, the side door of the apartment building, and you can either go up to the apartments up there or you go right down like maybe 6 steps. And then there's a short hallway, maybe 3 feet long, and then the door. You can't knock on the door from the fucking landing. You have to go down the stairs and stand in front of the door to knock on the fucking door. So I go down the stairs. Gio's up on the landing. I got my hand on my gun, and I knock on the door. And I think, boy, if this motherfucker just shoots through the door, I got nowhere to go. I can't go left or right. I got to run up the stairs backwards. So I knock on the door, and then I go to Gio, get the fuck out of the way. I go upstairs. I open the big door that goes into the hallway. I'm standing behind it. I'm standing behind the big door like this, and I got my gun out, or my hand on my gun. And the guy's drunk. He answers the door. He's like, what the fuck? And, he's hammered. He tells me he's got a problem with these people all the time. He doesn't have a gun. We run him. He's fine. He's got no FOID card or anything. FOID, which is a firearm owner identification card, although he can have a weapon without having a FOID card, obviously, if you're a criminal, not if you're a regular civilian. So the wife, she tells us her story, and they were mad that this kid was yelling on the phone, so they called us. They never opened the door or confronted him. Now, there's no cameras in there. We just got the word of this kid, and we got these people. We take all statements, and in the meantime, the guy who rents the apartment to this kid and his mom tells me, I got a concealed carry. No, he says, I've got a FOID card, which doesn't give you, in Illinois, it just says you have to have a FOID card to buy ammunition. And to buy a weapon, you have to have a FOID.
Yeah.
You can't carry with that. You have to get a concealed carry license. And he's outside telling me, oh, I got my gun on me. I'm like right now? Outside of your house, you have a gun on you. Yeah, I don't know what this guy's going to do. I'm like, that's illegal. You can't carry that. Go back in your fucking house before we arrest you for a UUW. No concealed carry. So anyways, everything ends peacefully. We don't make any arrests or anything, and we leave. The next day we come in, and day shift is all over at that apartment. The whole shift is searching for this kid, the same kid who was on the phone, threatened his mom with a knife, and then supposedly went after his mom with a knife. He's bipolar and on all kinds of meds and makes shit up all the time. Huh. So he made that whole fucking story up the night we were there. So they had him committed. Fuck. All right. One last thing about work. I'm pulling into work the other night, actually on Thursday night. And my deputy chief calls me as I'm backing in. And he's like, hey, what's up? I'm like, I'm just backing into my spot. What's going on? He's like, hey, why didn't you call me? I'm like, call you when? He said, last week I texted you, said, call me when you're up. I'm looking at my text stream. I'm like, I never got it. Didn't get your message. He's like, oh. I go, what do you need? He's like, well, I was talking to the chief.
Really
He goes,
good idea.
yeah. How sure are you that you're retiring in 4 months? And I go,
We need the bodies.
well, I'm like, no. I said, I don't know, Joe. Did you put me on day shift? Because that's the factor. If you put me on day shift to do trucks under the cover of the chief can move anyone anywhere because he needs, certain experience in certain places. Against the contract, they can't fight it if I go on day shift to do trucks. He goes, well, no, I didn't put you on days. And because we just bid for our shifts and I picked days. But now's the time we do our vacation time. So he said to me, I got to give the sergeants their vacation picks, and the new guy who just started in FTO training, he'll be done in like late February, I think, maybe early March, and they have to assign him to a shift. So he wanted to know if I was retiring, because if I was, he'd put him on our shift, because we'll then be short. Oh. And I go, Joe, that's 4 months away. I mean, I don't know. If you're going to keep me on nights, and I said to him, not only you keep me on nights, you're going to put me on the wrong night shift. I'm with the guys I'm with, but if I was on the other shift, I'd be running it when the sergeant's gone because of my experience, which is not the case on my shift. So not only are you keep me on nights, you're going to keep me on the same shift, and you don't want to use any of my, my experience. That's fine. But if that's the case, then yes, I'm leaving in May. Oh. Well, the sergeant or the chief was wondering if you'd signed a letter of intent. If you would turn in a letter of your intentions. I'm like, fuck no. No. Why would I want to do that?
How about you go fuck yourself?
Yeah, go hire more people. He goes, we just sent someone to the academy on Monday, and we only got 4 that actually made the list this time, and 3 of them failed at everything else, so we only got to send 1 to the academy. I go, I get it, but here's my point. 1, I can't put a paper in saying I'm going to retire in May because it's 4 months away, and if I decide I don't want to go because I like my friends and I like my job as much as I hate the shift, then I stay. Then you guys are going to hold me to that. And 2, if the fucking department didn't screw up in the first place and actually stop hiring people when they started retiring 2 years ago, this wouldn't be an issue. We're 6 people down. We would be fully staffed, and I wouldn't be on nights. And then he said, well, you're only going to be on nights for about 18 more months. I go, oh, so when I'm 57, I could finally get the fuck off nights? Get the fuck out of here. So jeez. I'm not going to put a letter in, but I'm leaving in May, I think. So that was an interesting conversation. I said, Joe, I got to find a job. I can't just retire. I told him where I was going to go. I think I'm going to go, possibly go back to the electric company. They've offered me a job back, but that process takes time. When does that application start? When do that whole ball start rolling? I don't know. So that was him pressuring me in to say I'm leaving and then turning in a letter of intent. So
that's shady.
Interesting conversation. Yeah. All right. Enough of that bullshit. I'm sounding a little hot today on the microphone, and I don't know why. And I'm going into the red on the screen. Yet I've got this set at my normal settings. Does it seem hotter to you?
It does in my headset, but I turned you down.
All right, I can't figure out what that's about, but
I blame Squadcast. As long as the video records.
Yeah, right. Let's just blame Squadcast.
Yeah, why not?
One last thing I wanted to touch on. And
quickly.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that's right. Okay. The officer that was murdered down in Bradley, Illinois, the sergeant.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard everything about that case. So
the only thing I've heard about that case has come from you.
Okay. Well, the body cam footage was reviewed, of course. And apparently this guy and the woman that he was with, the shitbag, he had multiple outstanding warrants for failure to appear warrants, FTAs, what we call them out here, right? And I don't know what those charges were that he didn't show up on, but they're familiar with this guy, and they must live at that hotel because they're always going over there. So the sergeant pulls up with the other patrolman, and they know this guy's got warrants. And their initial complaint was the barking dogs in the car, and these people owned the dogs. So they go up to the hotel room to make contact with someone that they know has a warrant and is a violent offender. 2 officers, sergeant, patrolman. Knock on the door. The girl answers the door. The guy's in the room. They address the girl. You got dogs barking out in your car. We need you to just please take care of them. The girl goes to she pushes past the police officer, and she goes to shut the door as she's coming out. She's going to push her way out and shut the door. Sergeant opens the door, and the girls now walk past, and then the kid inside the shit bag has a rifle. He shoots the sergeant. It goes in one shoulder, goes through, comes out the other shoulder, now rendering her arms completely useless. She can't move her arms. She turns to run. He continues to shoot at her. She's running down the hall. He's shooting at her. She goes down. He runs up with a pistol. He's got a pistol now. Tries to shoot her, execute her. It jams. He gets his girlfriend to try and help him unjam his weapon when the sergeant's telling him, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. He finally ends up just ditching that weapon and taking out the sergeant's weapon and putting it under her chin and then executing her. That's the fucking piece of shit that she was just dealing with. So a friend of mine who works with me, who worked for Chicago for 30 years, he had someone had seen the body camera and sent that to him, the description, and then gave it to us. So I told him I was going to let our listeners know too. The evil that is out there is real.
Yeah.
And you can second guess why they made contact with this person at all for a barking dog complaint, knowing he had, a couple warrants. Why not wait for him to come out and go to his car and then ambush him with a warrant team or SWAT team or whatever? But anyways, that's how that fucking sergeant was executed, which you won't hear on the news.
Nope.
At all.
No, you won't.
All right. Time to do our honor roll for the fallen officers of 2022 in January. The first few of the year. Dallas Police Department, Dallas, Texas. Police Officer Christopher Gibson. His cause of death was COVID-19, and his end of watch was January 2nd, 2022. And now my computer's frozen.
So, North Carolina
Hold on
Highway
a
Patrol Trooper John Sumter Horton. His end of shift was January 3rd, 2022. He was struck and killed by a patrol car while conducting a traffic stop near the intersection of High Shoals Church Road and Goods Grove Church Road in Mooresboro at about 9 p.m. It says he was struck and killed by a patrol car, but the way this reads is that he was killed on a traffic stop. So Trooper Horton had detained the driver of the vehicle and was standing on the shoulder of the roadway with the subject. Another trooper arriving at the scene, at the scene to back him up, lost control of his patrol vehicle and collided with Trooper Horton's patrol car, which was then pushed into Trooper Horton and the detained subject. The detained subject died at the scene. Trooper Horton died after being transported to a hospital in Spartansburg, South Carolina. He had served with the North Carolina Highway Patrol for 15 years. He survived by his wife, 6 children, parents, sister, and 2 brothers.
Did you say how old he was?
Let's see here.
Yes,
42.
he was 42 years old. 15 years of service. Sorry, my website just came back.
All right.
Want to do the next one too? Since mine is...
Well, you can do those because I got the
Okay.
the puppers.
The third one is Deputy Sheriff Brian Venata of the Curry County Sheriff's Office in New Mexico. His end of watch was January 3rd, 2022, from COVID-19 as well. So that's 3. 2 from COVID, and then 1 from being struck by a patrol car. Which, it sounds like he was standing in what we call the death zone, right?
Yeah.
In between your car and the rear of the other car. So
then we
all right, and then...
2 canines.
Sorry. Yes.
So we have Canine Benji from the Heflin Police Department in Alabama. His end of watch was January 5th, 2022. Benji was struck and killed by a passing vehicle while conducting an open-air narcotics sniff during a traffic stop. He had served with the Heflin Police Department for 5 years, and he was a 7-year-old good boy.
Oh.
And Canine Jedi of the Seattle Police Department. He also passed away on January 5th, 2022. And Jedi was stabbed to death while attempting to apprehend a burglary suspect in the 2200 block of South Eddy Street at about 2:45 p.m. A resident in the home called 911 to report a subject armed with a machete that was attempting to break in. Responding units encountered the subject, who then fled on foot. Officers pursued him to the 6700 block of Swift Avenue, where Canine Jedi was released to perform an apprehension. The man fatally stabbed Jedi during the apprehension and then stabbed an officer in the face before being shot and killed.
Jesus fuck.
Yeah. It doesn't give us Jedi's
At least this
age.
fucker's dead.
So
It says unknown breed, no age.
yeah, no age, no time of service or anything like that.
Wow. Okay. All right. On to the woodworking portion. What you got?
Not much.
I got dick.
So, because I've been down and out for the last week, I haven't had a chance to get into the shop. I'm going to try tomorrow to start on the Betsy Ross flag that I got for a friend, and then I'm
Cool.
going to try to do 2 projects at once. I'm going to try to also get going on that charging station that is long overdue, and then I need to finish off our pantry doors so that we can get going on the. I think the next part that we're going to work on is the countertops. So we've been trying to figure out what would be the next logical. So there's a jackass that lives behind my house.
I know.
If he's not revving his shitty car's engine, it's like an 80s Civic. Then he's
got that
setting
little
off
fucking
fireworks.
firecracker muffler on it.
Yeah,
I hate it.
yeah. And then
Well, your dog hates it too.
yeah, and it sets him off, and then that wakes up the baby. And I just swear to God,
hilarious.
just give me a clear line
Good
of
stuff.
sight. Just give me a clear line of sight.
Use a revolver. There'll be no shell casings left
No,
behind.
I'm really good at policing my breast.
Yeah. So that's
But-
it for you, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's been a lot of kind of planning stuff and then figuring out what we want to do next. So I think what we're going to end up doing with the countertops is, instead of trying to fill all the grout lines and then pour the epoxy over it, I think I'm going to knock off the bullnose edge all along the perimeter. And then I'm going to have, I'm going to put an MDF top over the tile and then pour over that.
Okay.
Save me a little bit in
How are you going to adhere the MDF to the tile?
construction adhesive.
That'll work.
So that'll sit on there. Pour.
Is the tile
Pour it.
porous enough to get that glue in there?
It should be.
Okay.
Or I'll just throw some fat beads of it on the grout lines.
Yeah, right.
So that should work.
Just that'll. Yeah. Okay.
So
That's cool. When are you going to start that mess?
I don't know. We got to finish the pantry doors first, and then we have to measure out the counters to see what kind of square footage we're going to have to order and then price that out. And then decide if we're going to wait until tax season comes in or if that's something that we can just do whenever we get a chance to do it.
Ordering the epoxy, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're going to go through, I think, Stone Coat countertops and get their countertop epoxy mix.
Are you going to make it look like marble?
Yep. That's the plan, is to make it look like white marble with some veining in it. John Malecki actually put out a video today of using that kind of stuff and doing the same exact kind of look that we're going for. So,
okay.
So we were watching that.
I used to watch a lot of his videos.
I love his stuff.
He's gotten so huge now in the woodworking and everything else he does. I love his shop.
Yeah.
I mean, he played for the Steelers.
He did.
When these players say they played, they were on a team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, he's played longer in the NFL than I have.
He did.
But
these are facts.
You know, sometimes I see these advertisements for a former NFL star, and it's like Joe Smith, who played on 18 teams and is always on the practice squad.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you were a practice squad player. Like,
right? Yes, there's a difference.
You were closer to the NFL than I was, but
right, I could play a practice squad player. Shit, I could return kicks and get the snot kicked out of me.
Maybe I could be like a practice squad punter.
I was fast enough. Oh, speaking of punting, I saw Robbie Gould punted twice for you today.
Yeah, because our punter decided he was going to try and make a tackle, and he died.
Oh. At least you got Robbie.
Yeah, I think he's got a concussion or something. But I was really
impressed
with how well Robbie
sign a punter.
Punted today.
I didn't get to see him, but maybe I'll watch some replays. So is that it for your shop stuff?
That's it, man. I'm gonna try to get out there tomorrow and do a couple things, but it all depends on how everyone else feels. What about you? How's your shop time?
My week. Guess what I did?
You finally delivered.
I got to deliver that 5-foot flag. So I'm so excited because I not only did I get rid of it, but I pulled into the parking lot at the same time the chief secretary is pulling in, and she saw the back of my truck that says Handcuffs and Sawdust Podcast. So she goes, and then she saw my license plates, which say MM58, which is my initials and my badge number, and they're White Sox plates. So she said, you got to be Mike. And I'm like, yes. She goes, perfect. Chief's picking up a cake for someone who's retiring today, so he'll be in a few minutes. I'm like, all right. So I lugged this huge-ass flag in there up the stairs. I was going to have them open it. Remember I told you I was bringing a knife with me?
Yeah.
And I was going to film it while they opened it. But Chief came in, Chief Mike Simo. He came from another police department, the actual Addison Police Department. And that department I did 3 flags for, and their big chalkboard, or their big corkboard that says, actually what this is right here. That's the first one I engraved up at Jonathan's. It spelled heroes wrong. It's not how these officers died that made them heroes, but how they lived. So, and then I got the badge right here above my head. That was one of the, this one was poplar, stained and engraved, that I was going to do for this big flag that I'm doing, but they wanted it painted, not stained. So I got to meet Chief Mike Simo. He got my name from one of the deputy chiefs in Addison. And while I was waiting for him, I met 2 more of his command staff, Deputy Chief Mike Wetzel and this guy, Lieutenant or Commander Brian. He's like a big monster. His hand just kind of engulfed me. He's huge. And they all know, even the secretary who let me in, her husband's a police officer on NIPUS and knows my buddy Jimmy, who I was just telling you runs the mobile field for us. So, oh, yeah, Jim Scheib. And this Chief Mike knows him, and the Deputy Chief Mike knows him. So I'm like, hey, how's Jimmy doing? So I told the Deputy Chief about the story when Jimmy and I went to the west side to recover a stolen BMW. And my Sergeant Jim said, let's go get this fucking car. We got to stop these fucking guys from just stealing our shit. And we're on the west side, the 2 of us with radios that don't work, and we can't call for help. Ended up, recovering the car after he sent. Did I ever tell you that story?
Yeah, you did. We talked about maybe leaving the city.
Once.
We went on a field trip for a little bit. And
yeah, so Deputy Chief Weitzel said, I'd go to Austin with you and Jimmy anytime. Like, okay. So he found out that we actually have a podcast. And he's listening to the podcast, and he sent me an email the other night and said he loves the podcast. And they were also looking into now ordering these stars. He said,
cool.
Can you do me a favor and put a price together? I'm going to do an internal memo to see if anybody would like to order a star, and can you engrave their badge number on it? And I'm like, yes. So I did up a quick a quote for them to do the star like this, either with poplar stained and painted, or poplar painted, or MDF painted. So they're going to get the 3 different types that they can do, and they can have the lettering gold for command staff if they want, and then silver or white for the regular patrolmen. So got that all going on, so that's pretty cool. I made flag number 100, which if you're watching YouTube, you can see behind me. It's for a company called Detail Lab Pros. They're a car detailer. They're actually right next door to the window tint guy and the graphics guy who did my sign for the podcast that's on my truck and tinted my windows on my truck, cutting edge window tinting. And he started in 2019. And he wanted it to say, his company saying is, we make it happen, established 2019. So that's engraved on the flag. And I actually did a first practice run of his logo on the CNC, and I screwed it up with the lettering with the wrong bit. So I cut off the lettering, and I made him this little sign. It's just going to be a surprise for him. I'll hang a little sawtooth hanger on the back. Yeah, and he can either hang this up at his house or in the shop next to the flag. So the flag is just black and burned. It's pine. I don't normally do pine, but I have.
It looks good.
It looks sharp, right? I asked him if he wanted the actual letters painted or the logo painted white, and he said, no, I just like the raw color. I'm like, cool. So I gave him a choice. And then I'm finishing up a Chicago flag bottle opener that was an Etsy order as well. And that's what I'm going to do tonight. As soon as we're done, polyurethane everything, and then wrap up the flag so I can ship it out in the morning, and then I'm done. I think mainly what I want to do is I had to move my table saw yesterday to router in the grooves for the new Harvey Industrial Tools miter gauge that's coming from my buddy John Erickson at 0 Dark 30 Woodworks, who will be my shout out because
sounds like a shout out of the week.
It's a shout out of the month or the year so far. So you and I were talking on our Instagram Live last week before the show, and I mentioned I was going to buy one of those, and they're like $350. And there's a number of guys in our community that have discount coupon codes. And Jonathan had texted us during the show and just said to shoot him a DM. So when I did, explained that he won his. He bought the saw, so he got one with it. He won a second one from Jason Bent doing a giveaway, and he's just going to ship it to me. All I had to do is pay for shipping. And I'm like, dude, I need to pay you some money for it. And he's like, nope. So shipping was $39. That's it. So I sent him $100. I don't care what he says.
Like I say, send him a shirt and
yeah, he'll get more stuff from me, but
and some
I just want him to have at least more than $39. So
yeah.
So it made my year. He's sending me that, and it should be here Tuesday, actually, I think. So I'll have it in time for Wednesday when I come back in the shop. So that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to not engrave, but make a spoil board for my laser. Have it kind of gridded out so I can align things a little bit easier. Because that's the thing that takes the longest for me is getting it aligned where I want it.
This is all trial and error?
Yeah. So I can frame the image, and my laser will go around where it's going to be. And then that's how I get it close. And then I'll start going and move it to the edge of the image, fire the laser at like 5% power so I can see the dot, and then make sure it's where I want it.
Sounds like a pain in the ass.
It is. So if I can get a spoil board in one place that I can put like a little right angle deal, I can just right there, and then it's good to go.
Awesome. Okay.
So that'll be a lot faster.
Good. Well, get on it.
Don't tell me what to do. You're not my supervisor.
Okay. I'm somebody's supervisor.
You're not the boss of me, Mike.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
Let's get out of here. Thank you for listening. Don't forget, new episodes of the Handcuffs and Sawdust podcast are available every Wednesday on your favorite podcast platform. Also available on YouTube,
Sometimes.
normally the same week at some point, unless something doesn't work. So this week we do have video, so we will have this on YouTube. Last week, I'm like Brandon, I said to Brandon earlier, I've got him recorded, and you can hear me. I might just put up a still photo of me or someone that looks like me, like George Clooney or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens.
The resemblance.
Think I could
is
sell
just
people on
uncanny.
that?
You should put,
Yeah, or
you
Tom
should put a
Cruise.
picture of Alec Baldwin.
No.
I think that would be hilarious.
Think so?
Yeah, people don't forget Alec. You killed
I might
somebody.
do that. We'll see. I might do that. For now, I got nothing else to say to Brandon except go Cowboys, because before we record next week, unless they're playing on Monday night, which we'll be
No,
recording on
they're
that
on
night.
Sunday.
They haven't released the schedule yet, have they?
Yeah, they did when we were doing the Instagram live.
Oh, what time? Because I didn't see if I can
I didn't
wake
catch
up
the time. I just said Sunday afternoon.
Because I have to work. All right.
don't.
Hopefully it's at 3
'Cause
o'clock.
I have Sundays off.
Fuck you.
I'm going to be so drunk.
After the Cowboys pound your team, you're going to need those beers.
No.
Thanks for listening.
With the as much shit as you're talking, I hope. Oh my
Thanks for watching.
Oh my god.
Be safe on the street and in the shop. Peace.
Deuces. Subscribe. Like. Things.
Share.
Tell your mom.